Hi everyone, it's Chenzo from Reality Art Pod. I'm here to bring you my simulation of a cast of 20 Survivor players playing Big Brother. I already did this video casting all Survivor Big Brother, so I figured I would run the simulation on Brantsteele. So here we go, it's a cast of 20. If you want to watch my casting video, I'm going to put a link in the description so you can watch my thought process behind making this cast. So this is my answer to an all Survivor season of Big Brother. So let's run it. I've never done this before and I'm not going to edit it too much. So here we go. We have our cast of 20. I'd love to hear in the comments, pause the video before you start watching. Who do you think is your front runner to win? Let's get into it. Okay, so we have some alliances happening in the beginning of the game. We have Angelina and Parvati, the queens. Angelina and Parvati have a loyalty of 8. We have Drea and Zeke with a loyalty of 8. And Alliance 3, we have Drea double dipping there, Michelle and Zeke. So Drea and Zeke are roping Michelle into their madness here. HOH competition, go fly a kite. The house guests enter the backyard to see a long spinning pole on which they must stand while holding a kite. If they fall and let go of their kite, it'll crush their sandcastle and eliminate them. The last house guest remaining is the first head of household. Sandra finishes last. Okay. They're holding onto a pole. Okay, so the competition comes down to Natalie, Michelle, and Zeke. Third place is Michelle. So we have Natalie against Zeke. I would predict Natalie winning this, but I didn't do any alterations to their strengths and weaknesses here. So who's hanging on the pole? Zeke finishes second. So Natalie wins the first HOH. Puts her in a good place in the beginning. She's going to begin the nomination ceremony. All right, we got Key Wheel. Rupert is safe. Should I just do show nominees from now on? This was tedious. Okay, so Natalie, newer school player Natalie has nominated Lex and Jerry. The fans are not happy about this. This is just not what we needed. So it gets the veto. Natalie draws Parvati to participate. Okay. Lex draws Rupert. All right, we're going with old school there. And Jerry draws Jonathan. Okay. Hide and seek. The house guests take... Okay, so hide and go veto. Jerry finishes last. She hit her veto right in the oven. It got found right away. Rupert fifth. He hit it probably in his tie-dye shirts. Natalie finishes fourth. All right, let's just show the winner. All right, Lex won the power of veto. Okay, Lex and Jerry are going to say who are going to be saved. Obviously, Lex is going to use it on... Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, maybe I should stop. So Natalie names Tina as the replacement. We have final nominees of Tina and Jerry. This is a pity. We have the Australia. Due to mental stress of the game, Angelina isolates herself from the rest of the house. So she's going to try to negotiate with Julie about, creating an extra room for her to sort this out with herself. Drea invents a new game. The house is thrilled. Count my advantages. And James and Natalie bond. That's sweet. This is not what I wanted. Alicia goes to vote. This is tough for Alicia. She has to choose. She's tired of Jerry and the chickens. Angelina votes for Jerry. Oh, God. Tina, Jerry, Tina. All right, split house. I'm not even counting. I've lost all will to live. I'm seeing a lot of Jerry. I'm seeing a lot of that hat. By a vote of 11-6, Jerry. Let's talk about Jerry for a second because Jerry comes into this. She was a villain, not the best reputation. So, I figured on Big Brother maybe, but... it seems like her reputation preceded her. She ends up on the block against Tina. Tina, who everyone loves, everyone's known for a long time, hasn't played in a bit. I can see how this shook out. One person down on our giant memory wall. So we have our alliances here. Not a lot of alliances. For a giant Big Brother house, you would think that people were a little bit more in the know here. The challenge is called Roll in the Dough. The house guests are standing in front of a wooden pole. They must travel under a rolling pin. Okay, it's a lake of sticky frosting, so I wouldn't expect Carolyn to be very good at this. I wouldn't expect Tina to be very good at this. James finishes last. That's a lot of body. The competition comes down to Coach, Carolyn, and Parvati. Now, I wasn't expecting Carolyn to be so good at this goopy climbing, but I guess she's been working on herself since her season. Coach really coming through here with some impressive challenge performance, but not enough this time, Coach. Carolyn finishes second, so what a season. Our second HOH is going to be Parvati. So what is she going to do? Let's just show the nominees. Okay, Parvati's played with both these players before. Nominating them is a big strike. Parvati is obviously here to win. 2 Survivor winners. Interesting that they're not teaming up, but maybe she has another plan in mind. What is this? Okay, so they're playing something. I'm trying to understand these rules. Corridor. I don't even know what competition this is, but Boston Rob, out of his glory, has finished last, so he's either throwing. I'm going to say he's throwing. Coach finishes 5th. Sandra finishes 4th. A really impressive impressive run here from Sandra. And the competition comes down to Jeremy, Drea, and Parvati. Third place is going to be Parvati. The HOH, she didn't need to win another thing. Jeremy finishes second. So the winner of the POV is Drea, who's addicted to power, as we know. Sandra and Jeremy say why they should be saved. Let's see what Drea has to say. Okay, so Drea uses the power veto on Jeremy, making some alliances, maybe playing the long game of, maybe I might need Jeremy's favor in future Survivor seasons. Parvati nominates Jesse as the replacement, and the final nominees are Sandra and Jesse. So I said earlier, I think that there's some treachery afoot here with Parvati totally backdooring Jesse here, put up these two pawns that she's familiar with, and I think that the house is going to vote out Jesse. Let's see. So Boston Rob and Sandra Bonds, good to know that they're fixing things from their tragic bridge burning on Winners at War. Tina makes an effort to improve relationships in the house. Got to fix that up, Tina. Due to the mental stress of the game, Jonathan isolates himself from the rest of the house. After borrowing an item from Rupert, Coach accidentally breaks it. So much for my dreams. A banner flies over the backyard reading Jesse is not to be trusted. That's not going to help when he's on the block. So we have Sandra and Jesse facing eviction, giving their speeches. Jesse probably has a really great speech. Sandra's speech probably messy, saying, I'm the queen, I rule you all. Let's see some of these votes. We got a Sandra. Oh no, God. The comments of this video are going to be angry, vicious. All right, I saw a lot of Sandra. I saw a lot of Jesse. Probably more Sandra. Oh no. Oh no. Well, this is a pity. We had to say goodbye to Sandra here. Sandra comes into this friends with a lot of people. Maybe she's rubbed some people off the wrong way in the preseason. Maybe she wasn't pre-gaming. Sandra doesn't care. Sandra also doesn't want to make it to the jury. She wants to get her money and go home. So, she raised the flag here. Not looking good for the women here. We need to get some men out of this house. I'm not loving this. This is like the season that we've all been waiting for. And then obviously, because we can't have nice things, it just goes to shit. So we still have this alliance between Angelina and Parvati. That's like my mommy's alliance. We have Drea here. Michelle sneaking her way in. Oh, great. Alliance number one. The mommy's alliance has now dissolved. So the fans on Twitter are losing it. We have an HOH where they're on the ledge. It's the wall comp. Michelle finishes last. We were all saying Michelle's going to win the wall comp. Wait till Winchell gets on there. But, obviously they haven't adjusted it for height. So it's probably a tall guy going to win. Here we go. Well, the competition comes. Alicia's in there. Third HOH is Alicia Calloway. She wins a physical comp. Probably, I would say, the best thing that she's done on reality television for her reputation. So, all right, let's see how this... I'm curious. No, I'm not curious. Let's see who she nominates. So Alicia is obviously onto some of the alliances that are in the house. Angelina and Zeke on the block. Not looking good for Angelina here, given how things have been going with this sexist house that we have. So we have Drea, Jeremy, and Parvati in the veto. The winner is Jeremy. So Angelina and Zeke, I don't know if Jeremy knows these two either way, so he does not use it, just like I thought. And the nominees are Angelina and Zeke. Where are we going with this? James and Rupert are bonding over heroes versus villains. They have a lot in common, believe it or not, these two. A banner flies over the backyard reading Michelle is not to be trusted. So the banner crew is really not creative this season. The ego of Zeke is rubbing the house the wrong way. Who's on the block, so that's not going to help. And Coach invents a new game, and the house is thrilled. So we got some real game makers in here, Hunger Games style. Lex and Rupert are bonding slightly, and these two have all-stars in common. Rupert really standing out here as the friend to all. All right, Angelina and Zeke face eviction. Let's show the votes. Drea standing up for Zeke, but it's not looking good for old Zeke. 10-5. Zeke evicted from the house. So we've got a man down. We've got two old school women down and one new school man into the top 17. So we've got a ways to go here. So we have this alliance between Drea and Michelle, I guess the only alliance left because Zeke is gone. So we have these two, the newly formed Mommy's alliance, the only alliance in the house somehow, despite gameplay happening. Pixel this. So we got a Quizzy McGuire type competition. Parvati really shitting the bed in these competitions. Michelle too. Get to the top 3. All right, we're going to have another woman HOH here. We have Angelina, Tina, and Natalie, with Natalie winning, I believe, her second HOH. So, and nominating Angelina and Jonathan. Angelina really coming across as really sketchy here, which they all know that she's sketchy, but she might be the permanent block person for the season. Okay, so we have Carolyn, who notoriously not a competition threat, Lex, and Parvati, who, as I said, the bed has been shit from Parvati, our queen, giving us nothing. But the competition, the veto comes down to Jonathan, Angelina, and Lex. Lex is in third. Oh, Angelina wins the POV. Oh, happy day. We get these little morsels of cheese. We're little mice that get little morsels of cheese. Yum, yum, yum. You know this is good feeds. When Jonathan and Angelina are on the block, Angelina uses the power veto on herself, and Natalie nominates Lex as the replacement. So the ladies are kind of getting their shit together here. Okay. Lex earns extra money for this week's budget in a task with budget. I don't know. Angelina breaks down and threatens to quit. She had a high, but it wouldn't be Angelina if she didn't threaten to quit the day after saving herself from the block. Jonathan flips the mattress on the bed of Tina. You stay away from her. You stay away from her, my guy. Due to mental stress, Coach is isolating himself now. This house, these people are losing it. While having a conversation, Jonathan accidentally makes an inappropriate comment. Oh, God. No. And you know he's not going to get kicked out. Natalie tells a heartfelt story about why she needs the money. Okay. HOH-itis. Jonathan and Lex are on the block. All right. Let's see. I mean, this is one that this eviction episode is a smoke break because who really? All right. This guy, production told them. Drea, again, voting against the grain. Michelle voting against the grain as well. So Drea and Michelle, the Mommies Alliance, have chosen to make Tina to make a very unpopular opinion, but Jonathan just flipped Tina's bed and made an inappropriate comment. So I don't know what this is about, but the edited show only can show so much. So here we have it, the top 16. This is probably a regular sized cast at this point, so we lose these 4. I'm okay with it. There are no alliances in the house, so something happened with the Mommies Alliance. We don't know. Bull in a china shop. They're standing on a long rotating log holding onto a bull's head attached to a rope. All right, so it's an endurance, standing on something. Alicia finishes last. Tina beating Alicia, so that's something. All right, the top 3. Angelina crushing it at comps. Angelina, who is just on the block. Lex, who is just on the block. Not looking good for Natalie, but Jeremy also in the running. But really not looking good for Natalie here, with Lex being the HOH. Will Natalie... Oh, who cares? Will Natalie make it through? Lex has nominated Natalie and Jam Jam. Jam Jam making his first appearance in the game since the beginning. Not really doing much here. So we have Drea, James, and Coach. This is probably Natalie's 2-time HOH with great backstories, worst nightmare. But the veto competition is Ballerina. Okay. Comes down to Lex, Natalie, and James. Natalie doesn't win. James wins the power of veto. James uses the veto on Natalie. Okay. Natalie has an in. She has a friend, even though there are no alliances in the house. She didn't nominate James. She said, James, do me a solid. And he did her a solid. Lex nominates Jesse as the replacement. Remember, Jesse is not to be trusted. They'll never forget that. Natalie and Angelina have a heated argument, leading to Lex. Okay, let's break this down this evening. So we start off, it's probably like 9 p.m. Natalie and Angelina start arguing in the kitchen. Lex now gets mad at Angelina. He's obviously on the side of Natalie in this argument. He goes into the bedroom. He's flipping Angelina's mattress. Now Angelina is mentally stressed. She isolates herself and the rest of the house. So she actually crawled under the flipped mattress just to get some alone time. It looks like a fort to her. Boston Rob and Tina are in the hammock while all this is going on. They can hear the muffled screams and they're bonding and laughing. Boston Rob here really flying under the radar of the entire game. Everyone has forgotten at this point that he is Boston Rob. Tina sees value in Rob. The ego of Jam Jam is rubbing the house the wrong way. And while having a conversation, Jesse now makes an inappropriate comment. CBS at this point is about to pull this show off the air. Let's get to the eviction here. Let's show the votes. Why not? I can use a thrill. So remember, Jesse just made an inappropriate comment. Are they deciding to cancel him or are they just annoyed with Jam Jam? So they've decided to choose violence here, obviously. And Jam Jam, unfortunately, his personality was too much for them. They couldn't handle it. Here is our top 15 of Survivor Big Brother. Who are we? Okay, so who are we rooting for at this point? Watching this, obviously, I'm happy that Michelle's still there. I'm happy that Natalie's still there. I obviously have a case of root for the women syndrome. So we start off this week. There are no alliances in the house. These 3 meet up. Drea, Lex, and Rupert, Mr. Down Home, every guy. He's bonded with these 2 and bringing these 2 together to make an alliance of loyalty 9. Which is a pretty strong alliance given that there's nobody else. They're doing Big Brother Disco. They're hanging from disco balls. Tina, not very good at this, it seems. Angelina really stunning with these endurance competitions. Parvati's, finally getting her shit together with these. Rupert hanging on his ball. Rupert falls, so we have a queen off between Angelina and Parvati. But Parvati wins. How sweet it is to say that Parvati is the HOH and nominates, of course, 2 men. Parvati nominates Jeremy and Jesse. We have Rupert, Tina, and Carolyn picked to play in the veto. Parvati, she doesn't need this. She's smarter than that. Carolyn finishes 5th, and we have Tina, Jeremy, and Jesse. Tina wins the power veto. See, these queens are queening. We have a trend on this season of the women doing incredible things, and the men are just making fools of themselves left and right, which is obviously hopefully ending up with a woman winner of this season. The only outcome I would accept in real life. So the final nominees are Jeremy and Jesse. Carolyn flips the mattress in the bed of Jesse. So this for me is a vindicative move where Jesse has made this inappropriate comment. Now Carolyn is being like, she's coming for justice. Coach holds a house meeting to apologize for his behavior. What behavior now of Coach? Oh God. While having a conversation, Natalie, oh no, makes an inappropriate comment. These people, Angelina and Jeremy, are now bonding over the inappropriate comment. Jeremy and Jesse are up for eviction. All right, let's see the votes. Jesse. Yeah, everyone's, it's time. It's been a rough time. Natalie votes Jeremy. That's going to be hard to explain at home. But Jesse is evicted from the Big Brother house. No one's surprised. Feels like that was justice. All right, so we have some comp wins here. Parvati with 2 HOHs. We love to see it. So we had this alliance. Now they pulled in Coach. This is just getting crazier and crazier. Drea's really pulling in the eccentric men. All right, so it's a true or false competition. We have Natalie, Tina, and Drea coming. So we're going to have another woman HOH. Natalie wins her third HOH, which probably is painting a bigger target on her back than she'd really like. But, got to keep Rupert safe. Mr. America. I think if it's not a woman, I think Rupert has a good chance of winning this. The other men have really been thrown into the fire a lot here. Natalie nominates Angelina and Lex. So these two, I think these were the same nominees that she made already. But she's going, Natalie, might as well just make the same nominations again. They already hate you. So we have this veto. Coach finishes last. Drea's in 5th. Natalie's in 4th. So Natalie really trying to lock in these nominations. But James, Angelina, and Lex. And James finishes 3rd. So we have Angelina winning the veto. Really, the only thing that could happen on here that would make sense. Angelina uses it on herself. And Natalie names Tina as the replacement. So the final nominees are Tina and Lex. Natalie wins some money. Carolyn and Natalie bond. Alicia holds a house meeting. She's apologizing for her behavior. Parvati and Carolyn bond. Boston Rob attempts to blame and call out Rupert for certain actions in the house and how Rupert deserves to leave. Now here's, I think, Boston Rob's big mistake, in my opinion, because Rupert is so well connected to these people. I think Boston Rob publicly making such a miscalculation is not good. Tina and Lex are up for eviction. Now I would expect Lex to go here, but given that Tina is such a threat, so it comes down to a vote of 6-5. And Tina has to walk the plank and is evicted, which I feel like there's a big target on Tina being a previous winner of the show and someone who, not as much over time, but really I think a lot of these people do see Tina as like a huge jury threat and someone who can never make it to the end of a season. So the fact that she made it this far, I think, is something that we should be happy for. We have the top 12. I'm wondering when the jury starts. I guess the jury would start at 11. So this might be the last round before the jury. We have Drea's group, and then Drea's group brings in Michelle. So Michelle has snuck her way into this alliance, and it's loyalty 9. So Michelle has creeped her way into Drea and the guys. House guest soup. The house guests are sitting in a tub. Gross. And the buckets are going to have disgusting items. Coach can't handle it. Coach, this is not Coach's thing. So the competition comes down to Alicia, Parvati, and Angelina. Why wouldn't it? And Alicia winning HOH, which I feel like last time Alicia's HOH was a little problematic. So let's see what's going on here. She's keeping a lot of the old school players safe. I think Drea and the guys are safe. We'll leave Rupert on the block against Angelina. Not looking good for Angelina here, I don't think, with Rupert. In my opinion, Rupert is the god of the house here. So Angelina finishes last in the veto. This is seeming like Angelina's goodbye. But Rupert, the king of kings, has won. He's won, and he saved himself. Ooh, and Alicia nominates Michelle. So, and Lex obviously flips the mattress of Natalie, because we can't have a week in this house without mattresses. You know, that's the norm in this social construct here. But we have Angelina versus Michelle. Michelle has just snuck her way into a Loyal 9 alliance. So let's see. Coach votes for Angelina. Coach is in the alliance. Carolyn's not in the alliance and still votes for Angelina. Drea, no love for Angelina here. Is anyone going to throw her a bone? No, Rupert led the charge on this one. So Angelina, you could not negotiate yourself out of this one. Good run on this. 2 POV wins. So she can definitely go home proud. A good run on reality TV. I think becomes the final pre-juror. Alliance number 4 dissolves. So Drea and the guys. This is interesting because it seems like the center of the onion of the house has now broken up, but the other alliances are still together. So we're going to get to an HOH competition and in another endurance competition. This is the one where they're standing, I guess, in the cages and they can pee, I guess. It comes down to Boston Rob. Boston Rob says, I've had enough of this. I want to get involved. Lex and Michelle. Boston Rob and Lex really probably standing off. You know, they have that beef. And Lex steps down. Rob says, Michelle, on God, I got you. I'd be shocked if he doesn't nominate Lex. This is when Rob... We're getting around the jury. This is when Rob is really... Oh, Lex is safe. We have Rupert and James on the block. If you remember, like 2 weeks ago, Rob was telling everyone, you got to get out. You got to get Rupert. So this is him trying to get Rupert himself. Let's see if he can get him. So Parvati finishes last. Rupert finishes 5th. Drea's 4th. The competition comes down to Lex, James, and Boston Rob. Lex and Boston Rob really frenemies here. Rob spared Lex in this one. But Boston Rob is going to win the power veto. And Rob's going to be able to decide if he wins or loses the game here, I think. And Rob doesn't use the power veto, so that's something. Parvati and Rob are bonding, these two, like they needed to bond. Carolyn tells a heartfelt story, and Jeremy irrationally lashes out at Coach. And I can imagine at this point they've probably been in there for well over a month. And I'm surprised that no one has irrationally lashed out at Coach yet. So let's see the votes. This is really interesting because we have James, who's kind of been just floating by, and Rupert, who seems to have been active in the game. So I think that the activity has helped basically getting everyone besides. So Parvati wants to help Rob execute his plan, getting Rupert out. Natalie wants to help as well, but overall the house didn't want to go for it. This must have been a blindside that was orchestrated last minute. James, we have to say goodbye to James here. I guess the jury might start at 7, or is there no jury? So we lose James, who won 1 power veto, and we're down. We have Alicia, Coach, I'm surprised is still there. Carolyn, not really doing much here. Drea, Jeremy, Lex, Michelle, winning nothing. Natalie's won 3 HOHs, Michelle empty-handed. Parvati with 2 HOHs. Rob and Rupert. Rupert even has a POV. Come on, Michelle. So we still have these alliances, the big alliances. Even though the core is disintegrated, Michelle has been putting in that work. Okay, so they're getting to the point where they're starting to have some memory and trivia. Rupert, not the best at this, it seems. So it comes down to 3 women, Drea, Alicia, and Parvati. In 3rd place is Parvati. So we have Alicia winning another HOH. Alicia playing an interesting game because I have no idea really. She doesn't have any alliances. She was winning a lot of competitions, but completely going rogue every time, and nominates Rupert and Michelle. It's kind of shitty nominations, but I guess Michelle's maybe a pawn. Sweet dreams, honey. Sweet dreams, honey. House guests enter the backyard with a large lake of honey underneath it. So it's another thing swimming through this honey. Lex is in last. Michelle, Jeremy. So it comes down to Rupert, Boston Rob, and Alicia. With Boston Rob. So Rob wins the veto and again has Rupert's life in his hands. So I would guess he doesn't use it, or maybe he uses it on Michelle, which he ends up doing. Jeremy is the replacement nominee against Rupert. So here we have again a similar situation where we have Rupert, who's been putting in a lot of legwork in the house. Are they going to give Rob what he wants and get Rupert? But the ego of Jeremy is rubbing the house the wrong way. The pressure of the game gets to Coach, and he's having a public emotional breakdown. Boston Rob and Natalie bond extremely well, and Parvati opens up to Coach by sharing a personal story. I think that really wins over a player like Coach. Rupert and Jeremy are going to face eviction. So here we have Rupert, friend to all, and Jeremy, who's pissing people off. So coach is going to vote for Jeremy. Yeah. Rob wants Rupert out, but even Natalie's evicting Jeremy because Rupert's Riz has gotten to the house. So Rupert's Riz once again. So we have Natalie with 3 HOHs, Alicia with 3 HOHs. Coach and Carolyn, I forgot, didn't win anything. So I take it back, Michelle. I just didn't look up here. But Coach and Carolyn don't win anything either. They're launching a ball into a field of playing cards. The competition comes down to Boston, Rob, Lex, and Carolyn. It's nice to see Carolyn, showing up. Rob wins HOH again. So we have Rob, HOH. What are the chances that he doesn't target Rupert here? You got to give up eventually, right? But I don't think I've never known Rob to be a quitter. So Rob has decided, I know how I'm going to get Rupert. I'm going to nominate him against Carolyn. Michelle, Coach, and Drea are going to play in the veto. Carolyn does not win the veto. Rupert does not win the veto. Rob doesn't win the veto either. So Coach, the most unpredictable player in the game, has won the veto. Rupert and Carolyn state why they should be saved. I think Rupert would have a way to talk his way into Coach's heart. And Coach uses the veto on Rupert. Rob, once again, has a foiled plan. And, this sucks. Buzz and Rob names Michelle as the replacement. That's terrible. And the final nominees are Michelle and Carolyn. Carolyn is now apologizing for her behavior. Michelle and Drea are bonding, and they're already in an alliance. And Coach is working on it. So let's see the votes. I would think that Michelle would be fine here because Michelle is in an alliance. Alicia's not in that. Coach is. Drea turns on Michelle. Lex turns on Michelle. All right, so the house turns on Michelle, which, to be fair, Michelle is the better player. So Michelle, rest in peace. Well, you're still alive, but new alliance alert. These three have banded together. Drea double dipping. So at this point, Drea playing the best game in the house because now she's teamed up with Alicia, who is winning comps, and Carolyn, who is loyal. Battle of the sexes. This challenge description seems a little dated to me, but the top 3 comes down to Coach, Lex, and Rupert, but Rupert wins the HOH. I think this top 3 is Boston Rob has nightmares about this top 3 in the HOH competition, so I would be surprised if Rupert doesn't nominate Rob here after the hell that Rob has been putting him through. And it would be funny actually if Rupert nominates Rob and Alicia, and I think it would be funny if after all this Rupert single-handedly just gets Rob out of the game. So Big Brother Odyssey, the house gets enter the backyard to see 6 Greek arches. They must roll their ball over the arch 300 times. Natalie's last, Coach is 5th. It comes down to Lex, Alicia, and Boston Rob. With Rob finishing 3rd, Rob really needed to, I think, win this one. And Alicia wins the veto. Alicia saves herself. Again, I think that this is Rob's worst nightmare, and being nominated against Parvati. I think maybe being nominated with Parvati could be Rob's saving grace. Natalie tells a heartfelt story. Rob and Alicia bond. That's not good for Parvati. And Carolyn flips the mattress of Boston Rob. So we've got some anger there. So Alicia votes for Parvati. Coach votes for Rob. Carolyn votes for Rob. Drea votes for Parvati. These votes are all over the place, and it's going to come down to Lex's vote. And does Lex vote for Rob? He doesn't. Parvati is evicted. That sucks. That's sad. Goodbye, Parvati. You won 2 HOHs. I think that your star was just too bright for this. Everyone was jealous. So here's the top 8. I don't think I set this up right because I don't know when the jury starts or if the jury's starting. So we started this week off with Drea and the boys and Drea with the girls, but Drea and the girls now dissolves. So Drea just has the boys. The competition's called BB Farms. They're in a farm themed backyard and they have chicken wire fences and they have to get the eggs. Okay, it's the eggs and the chicken wires. Lex finishes last. The competition comes down to Alicia, Carolyn, and Boston Rob. I think I'd be interested to see a Carolyn HOH, but it's Boston Rob again. Probably nominating Rupert again because that's the season. Rupert and Carolyn, the exact same nominations as last time. So we have Rob, Rupert, and Carolyn, Coach, Natalie, and Drea playing in the veto. Rupert finishes last. I would like to see one of these nominees win the veto. It's been a while. Looks like Rob is going to win the veto. Probably not use it. And it's going to be Rupert and Carolyn on the block. Now, this was Rob's initial plan to get Rupert out, but didn't work out. Lex and Natalie are going to have a heated argument. These arguments in the house also might not be helping Rob, but Boston Rob holds a house meeting to apologize for his behavior. So, Rupert, I'm sorry, I've been coming for you. Let's get these votes. Alicia's going to evict Rupert. Coach is going to evict Carolyn. Drea is going to evict Rupert. Lex is going to evict Carolyn. So it seems like Lex and Rob are on the same page. But they've been on the same page before. In previous seasons, it hasn't worked out. So it's going to come down to Natalie's vote, who is going to evict Rupert from the house. So we're going to lose Rupert, who I had a lot of faith in. I had a lot of faith in Rupert, a lot of this too, to pull out the win, but so much for my dreams. Okay, so we're coming into another week. We still have Drea and the boys. Drea and the boys loses Rupert here, unfortunately. And then we have Drea and the girl. So Drea and Alicia form a new final two with Loyalty 9. So it looks like the HOH is going to be an elimination style HOH where Carolyn finishes last. Lex finishes 5th. Alicia's in 4th. So I didn't realize that we're down to probably the final 7 now. We have Natalie, Coach, and Drea in the final 3. And Drea wins the HOH. I think this is good for Drea because she's already well connected. So this kind of just helps her to solidify some of the bonds. You know, we got Drea and the boys. She's going to keep Alicia, Drea, and the girl. So she's going to nominate Natalie and Boston Rob, really the people she's not connected to. So good nominations. And she picks Coach and Lex and Alicia get picked. So really this is an ideal situation for Drea. I'm sorry I'm not talking about these POV competitions, but really, who cares? So Drea wins the HOH. She nominates her non-allies. Her allies all get picked for the veto. And Drea herself wins the power of veto, really giving her the power to have anything happen that she wants. She does not use the power of veto. And Natalie and Boston Rob are the final nominees. Carolyn and Rob are going to have a heated argument. And the ego of Drea is rubbing the house the wrong way. Now, that could easily happen. She has HOH-itis. She is the most well-connected person, so she's playing a good game and she knows it. Let's get to the votes. I would fully expect Rob to be voted out here, but we have Coach and Carolyn. What a duo coming together to vote for Rob, and it ends up being a tie. And Drea turns on Natalie. So Natalie evicted from the Big Brother house. Natalie having won 3 HOHs. I think that target just kind of gets a little bit too big at a certain point. Given that, I think that Rob, with 3 HOHs and 3 POVs, should be someone that they're looking at next. Maybe Alicia, but Alicia has a little bit more of an in with the house. We have the same alliances. So now they're swinging on vines and slamming into walls, obviously not Coach's. You know, Coach did a little bit of vine swinging in his time, but it's fallen off in the last few years. Lex finishes in 4th. So it comes down to Alicia, Boston, Rob, and Carolyn. Carolyn, a consistent finalist in these competitions, but always choking right before the end. And Rob wins his 4th HOH. At this point, I don't know if they have time to catch Rob, but he's going to keep Drea safe, Lex safe. Rob is saving Lex for dessert. And Alicia's going to be safe, so Carolyn and Coach, who Rob doesn't have much control over, are going to be nominated here. We're in the top 6, so everyone's going to play in the POV. Let's look at this top 6 for a second. We have Rob. Rob has kept Lex around. We have Carolyn and Coach here. Drea, who I think is the most well-aligned person because she allies with Coach, a little bit with Lex, a little bit with Alicia. The POV competition, human guinea pigs, in true Big Brother fashion, is running back and forth with puzzle pieces. It's going to come down to Boston Rob, Coach, and Drea, with Rob finishing 3rd and Drea winning the veto. I think that this might have been needed from Drea. So Drea wins the veto. Drea decides to save Coach. Obviously, Drea and the boys, so Boston Rob finally nominates Lex as the replacement. This was the relationship that Lex thought he was building with Rob the whole time. We have 20 years of beef. We're going to work on it. And Rob has really just decided to pick his teeth with Lex, with the final nominees being Carolyn and Lex. Carolyn holds a house meeting to apologize. I feel like this is not her first public apology here. But Carolyn and Lex face eviction. Rob probably told Lex right before this that everything was going to be okay, but everything's not going to be okay. So Lex going home again at Rob's hand. So close to the finale again. So we're down to the final 5. We have 3 women with Alicia, Carolyn, who still won nothing, and Drea, and 2 men, Coach and Rob. And I think this is an entertaining final 5. It's nice to see Alicia coming all the way from season 2 and doing the best that she's ever done at one of these competitions. So we have Drea and the boy and Drea and the girl. I wonder if that'll be the final 3. So the HOH competition is going to be the slip and slide. Coach is going to finish last, and it's going to come down to Alicia, Carolyn, and Drea. Alicia finishing 3rd. Carolyn, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Of course, Carolyn doesn't win. And Drea wins the HOH Didn't really need to, but at this point, Drea should just probably try to win out. So Drea and the boy, Coach is safe. Drea and the girl, Alicia's safe. I think she's playing them both. Drea nominates Rob and Carolyn. So Drea really using Rob's strategy to get Rupert out against him. We're going to get the POV. Everyone's playing. Rob finishes last. Not good for him. So Carolyn's going to win her first competition here at the final 5. She wins the veto, nominated on the block against Rob, and obviously is going to use it on herself. So this is interesting. After Carolyn wins the veto, Drea has to decide between her 2 final 3s, between Coach and Alicia. She decides to nominate Alicia as the replacement. So Boston, Rob, and Alicia are going to go on the block. Coach is going to invent a new game. The house is thrilled to have something to do. Boston Rob tells a heartfelt story about why he needs the money, which, I mean, I'm probably going to fall on deaf ears, right? It's Boston. I mean, you have $1 million. So they give their speeches. It's going to be Coach and Carolyn voting. I'm more curious. Carolyn votes for Rob. Coach votes for Alicia. For me, this is a little bit probably of jealousy. He's jealous of Alicia's relationship with Drea. Wants Drea all to himself, but is Drea going to give it to him? Drea is going to break the tie, and she's going to evict Rob from the house, who was really her biggest obstacle. So here we have a really fun Final Four. We have Alicia, Carolyn, and Drea, and Coach, the last man standing. It feels appropriate. I don't know why. So we get to the Final Four, HOH. We have Drea's final 2s playing against Carolyn, who's, I guess at this point, a free agent in the game. Carolyn finishes 3rd because that's what she does best. And Coach wins head of household, choosing to save Drea because Coach is unwaveringly loyal to Drea. And Alicia and Carolyn are going to be on the block here. I think if Carolyn doesn't win this veto, she's pretty doomed, given that Drea is going to make it to the final 2 with either of the other 2 people. So in the POV, Carolyn finishes last. I think Carolyn's pretty toast at this point. And Drea wins the Golden Power veto. I think at this point, this might be solidifying Drea as the winner of the game. She doesn't use the veto. The final nominees are Alicia and Carolyn. I'd be shocked if Carolyn isn't evicted here. While having a conversation, Carolyn accidentally makes an inappropriate comment. So right before the eviction, not good. Alicia and Carolyn are nominated. And Drea blindsides Alicia. It's sad, but Carolyn just made an inappropriate comment. You've won 3 or 4 HOHs. So we get to the final 3 here. Coach, Carolyn, and Drea. Who's your money on? We have this final 2, so Drea has chosen her final 2, I guess. Drea finishes 3rd. Carolyn finishes 2nd. So in the final HOH, is this part 1? Part 1 of final HOH goes to Coach. Part 2 goes to Drea. So I'm assuming this is the final 2 of the show. Coach wins the final HOH. So this is interesting. We've got the Dragon Slayer, Coach. He has won the final HOH. He could blindside Drea, which would probably be a game-winning move. Or he could make a really stupid decision and evict Carolyn. And he does it. Coach blindsides Drea at the final 3. Brings Carolyn to the final 2. I hate to say it. I mean, Coach starts off. He gets in a few alliances. He ends up getting in with Drea and the guys. And has made it to the point where he gets Drea to choose him over Alicia. And then cuts Drea. So here's the jury. Coach and Carolyn give opening speeches. All right, let's get to the jury. So Drea, who was just blindsided by Coach, will she respect it? She does. Alicia didn't like Coach. Coach was Alicia's undoing in the game, I think. Okay. Rob votes for Coach. He had a lot of respect for him. Lex votes for Coach. Coach never did Lex wrong. Rupert votes for Coach. Parvati giving Coach his props. Michelle votes for Coach. And Jeremy giving Carolyn that precious vote. So by a vote of 8-1, the winner of what we've all been waiting for, a 20-person cast of Survive It Big Brother, is Coach. So let's talk about Carolyn. Carolyn, who comes into this, they all know that Carolyn isn't the best at a final tribal council, final jury. So Carolyn probably really tanked at the jury answering questions. But I also don't think that Carolyn really had a chance, given that she barely won anything. She won that one competition where it didn't really matter. She wasn't going home. But Coach really showed up and showed out. It really helped Coach that Jerry was evicted first, so he didn't have that target on his back about his old showmance that he had with Jerry. He had a really great storyline about getting over Jerry's eviction and the fact that he felt really alone after the first few weeks. And then Coach Benjamin ends up winning this simulation. Am I happy? No. Is it funny? Yeah. The fan favorite comes down to Alicia, Parvati, and Rupert. I can see it. I can't see that. But Alicia coming all this way, making it from 2 mediocre showings on 2 other seasons of Survivor, making it to the end game and winning fan favorite. I can see it. So there you have it. There's my 20-person cast whittled down to 1 Dragon Slayer. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate that always. And let me know if you'd like to see more of these. I've never done one before. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a nice week. Bye.